Hello everyone, this is the walkthrough video for the Jeopardy Game Pack. If you haven't purchased this game pack, I will leave a link in the description box so you can go ahead and grab your copy. After you have completed your purchase, you will receive two files. The first would be an HTML file that you'll need to download into your device. For this game to work well, please download it into a device such as a laptop or a computer. It will not work well if it's loaded into a phone or an iPad or a tablet. It works best when used on a computer or a laptop. Alright, so when you download that HTML file, next thing you want to do is to double click on it and it will open up using your default browser. If you want to use a different browser to open it up, all you need to do is right click on the file and choose the browser you need to open it up. Here's what that looks like. I have the file right here that I have downloaded into my computer. If I right click and click open with, I can choose a browser that I want to use to open the game. If I double click, it opens up using my default browser, which is Chrome. So it doesn't matter what browser you decide to use it on, it should work as long as it's a modern browser like Chrome, Edge, or Safari. Now, the second file you're going to get is a game pack. And here is what that looks like. This file contains different game packs that you can upload into your game app. I'll show you how to upload a game after I give you an overview. We'll start with the settings tab. This first area is where you would use to change the theme. So this is the default theme color. However, if you want to use the dark theme, you can do so, or you can change it to something more specific like Halloween or Christmas, depending on what your use case is. The next one is what you would use to turn on and off sound. And then here is where you would change the timer for the questions, and the point values can be assigned here. The default title will be populated from the game pack. However, if you want to change it, you can do so as well. You can add your host name in this section as well. In this section, you will add your game packs. You can start off with using some of the default game packs that comes with the game. Click on load, select pack, and click confirm. When you go here, it has loaded that game pack. Please note that this is not a complete game. It's just meant for you to test out the game app. Remember, I told you will receive a second file that has game packs. Here is how you would upload it into the game app. Click on import game data, navigate to where you have downloaded your file. Alright, and then select the game you want to play. I'm selecting Halloween, adult categories. Then you get a confirmation message that the game has been successfully uploaded. Click OK. And what you notice is that it updates the name here as well. So if you don't want to use this name, go ahead and edit it, and the updated name would show up in the game board. The next area you would want to edit would be the teams. Here is where you would add your teams. First, you select an emoji, then you type over here for the team name, and you can add a new team if you want. So go ahead and type in the new team name. After adding this, you should be able to add an emoji to the new team. The maximum of teams that you can have is 5. So when you import a game into the game app, all the questions will be loaded here. So you can see the final Jeopardy question, and here are the individual questions. So just in case you see a question that you might want to change around or you want to edit the answer, you have a chance to do so before you start the game. You can easily move things around by clicking on this icon and dragging it over here. So now you have this question assigned to 100. You can also type in here and replace the answers or even replace the questions completely. If you want to change the final Jeopardy question, you can go ahead and type the question here as well as the answer. Alright, so now we're going to switch over to the game board to see what the game looks like. You can see we have 6 categories and 5 questions. So if everything looks good and all the teams are correctly entered, you can go ahead and start your game. Select whoever is going to go first, and let's select the first question. I'm going to select candy and treats for 200. The countdown timer would start, and you can go ahead and play the game as expected. When you're ready, you can click on show answer. And then when the answer shows up, you can assign the points to the correct team with the answer. If no one gets the answer correct, click on incorrect, no answer. I'm going to assign it to the Franks so you can see how it looks like. And now you can see that the Franks is leading the pack with 200. And then what's nice about this is that this also grays it out here, so you know that this question has been answered and you cannot reselect it. The next tab is the scoreboard for the game. This is going to give you a little bit more detail, so you can see all the teams and you can see all of the questions and how they answered and who the points were assigned to. This gives you a little bit more control, especially if you have someone else that their job is to manage the game. The next tab is the game history tab. You can see the history of all the games that have been played. This history is saved on your local browser storage. So every time you open this game on the same browser, on the same computer, you have this game history. However, if you decide to switch the browser, so let's say you're using Chrome and you switch to Safari, you will no longer have this history because it is computer specific and browser specific. The same thing applies if you decide to use a different device. Even if you're using Google Chrome, it will not show this history. So just keep that in mind. It doesn't have a cloud connection. It is meant to be used locally on a specific device. Alright, that brings me to the end of this walkthrough video. If you have any questions, please reach out to me and let me know. If you haven't purchased this template, I will leave links in the description box so you can go ahead and grab your copy. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.